Good morning. Hopefully you can hear me. It's saying a little bell off, but I'm thinking that might be alarm. Anyway, bit of a different morning for me. I would normally be at a networking event this morning. The kids both off, and class was cancelled because of that, because I've been doing my mummy duties. And I just sat down before I do my live. I was going to record my class. I kind of postponed it to 1 o'clock, but I thought I might as well get recorded so it's there. And I would normally, as part of that class, pull the card for the week. I thought I'd come on here and pull the card for the week instead. And also talk about the Mandela effect and timeline shifting, a little bit of a download that's been coming through. So here's a 3D thing that's making me think of something a little bit less 3D. You may or may not be aware of the show Bridgerton. And actually Vampire Diaries as well. I think it's to talk about this. If for those of you that are aware of what the Mandela effect is, it's this different timeline occurrences. So it's called the Mandela effect because there's people that remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison, and people that remember a timeline that where he's alive and or was alive or dies out of prison. And if you Google Mandela effect, you'll find numerous videos on this. It says, I've actually started to see that it's listed differently as well now. It used to say that there's these, it says about occurrences where, like, the fruit of loom is one of the that appears different, different, what would you call them, signs are slightly different and people remember them. A Star Wars is the other one, Luke, you are my father, and it's actually something else in reality, or that we collectively remember something happening differently to what it actually has happened. Like the Mandela. People swear by it. Well, I had this same experience. So I rewatched the Vampire Diaries the first time I experienced it myself. And I remembered a completely different ending to the one that I was watching. And then I've literally rewatched Bridgerton because they had a new series cut on. And I remember I remember different scenes in the first series that are no longer there, and a whole different storyline for one of the characters in the second and third series. So it's like watching a whole different series again. And I was questioning it till I spoke to someone. I was like, do you remember this scene? She said, yeah, I remember that. I was like, you need to rewatch it because it's no longer there. Have they just cut it for some random reason? But yeah, it's things like that. But the reason that's meant to happen on an energetical level is that timelines are, that these parallel lines of time are now converging. So we exist multidimensionally. So in those different timelines, we are still part of those timelines. It's bizarre. It's almost like it becomes a dream. Like, did I remember that? Is that a reality? Is it, am I going nuts? Am I losing my, because it does feel that way. But the more and more I speak to people that are completely having the same experience, collective experience, that you realise actually, no, there's more to this. And that's why I say Google them, because there's hundreds of listed occurrences. A lot of them are visuals, things like TV series, like I was using the Bridgerton example where I completely different ending and different storylines for characters. And I know that sometimes they do record alternative endings for things for like various reasons. But yeah, I was experiencing it and thinking, oh my God, this is just bizarre, and asking guidance on, well, what's this about? And obviously this is about timelines that are converging. We are supposed to be, there was a lower timeline that we've avoided. But some people are, I won't say still on that, still in that, energetically speaking. That higher one is the set point for reality now, whereas it used to be the lower one was the set point for reality. But as they move and they shift, what we call convergence points, when we talk about it in terms of energy, things like this will continue to happen. I've literally spoken to people that have gone like this, am I hallucinating, where they've seen whole landscapes in front of them. If you look into the physics of this, it's like, well, if reality is a hologram in a sense, that we create our reality on a deeper level, then this kind of makes sense. It's almost like, well, if you think of the VR world, or you think of like gaming, it gives you an idea of this, or a concept, at least a structure for the brain to get your head around. But this is much, 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 much more complex than that. I'm not saying reality doesn't exist. It is very, very tangible. And this month, because of the high frequency energy that's coming through, you need to be grounding. It's one of the things I mentioned in the report, but I just felt like I'd ask, are any of you experiencing these timeline jumps? I would get it quite often, and I've been having this since probably back from before 2020, when I would suddenly feel like I was in a different reality. I was in a different household. I was living a totally different life. In meditations, I'd get glimpses of this, and I think, oh, this is just, like you're jumping into future lives, past lives regression, future life regression. And it was bizarre, because then I was, obviously I've spoken of this conduit connection with the divine masculine, and an aspect of myself in that reality. I just see it beyond what is it. Just, what is that book? Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. If any of you have read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, there is a meditation thing that he used to do that I started doing myself, where energetically you would kind of imagine, in fact, let's do it now. Let's do it as a little practice. That might be quite a nice thing to have as a practice. To close your eyes and just imagine you're in a room and there's a round table. And around that round table, calling in the archetypal energies of whoever you choose. So that can be reality people, like, I don't know, Einstein, for example, people that are alive or that are dead. That can be angelic presences, or the embodiment of a goddess. So, for example, Bridget, or who is it that I'm feeling? I did bring the cards to think. Artemis, and her archery, focusing on that future self. And which of those, and then I'm seeing that experiment by Einstein, because of that Einstein present that I mentioned, where when you look at the particle, by looking at that particle, we change where that particle, these experiments, how they become, and whether they're, I can't even remember the scientific name for it, but it literally changes the dynamic of whether it's positive or negative, for example. It's not those words, but and I'm seeing it as they go through, whether they're applied or not. And in the same way, I want you to think about you're holding to the highest reality, the highest level. And it doesn't mean that you're always on that. You might dip down, you might jump in and out, especially at the moment. But it's looking to it as like a guiding light. It's your soul, if you want, your inner being calling you. And going to this analogy of the round table and calling in these presences, as a collective, you can tune into the collective consciousness of those beings, even if they're living. So you can use me, for example, and then that aspect of my higher self, not physical me, this earth suit, if you like, but the higher aspect of me will be at the table if you choose to. So it's, think of who you resonate with, who you want at that table. Maybe it could be Joshua and Mary Magdalene. It could be that is reference to the higher starseeds, the archangels, or Arcturus, Alaran, Council of Time is what to me is always present. And what I have seen to believe, and I call the Black Cat Guardian Order. They are, to me, the energy of holding the space. They are not to let any negative frequencies interfere with the communication that you are having with your divine union of this collective soul council, if you like, and yourself, your higher being, your soul family, calling in that presence, feeling, embodying, invoking Ia turo naya shi koro mayata ea na yituro kona ea shi na noro kora, through frequency, through sound, through love, through light and divine guidance. I feel that presence within me, feel that presence within you, me, you, we, us, all. Aya kona naya hela urata. Urak turo naya, ia hier turo miata, ia noro miata. And see the images of that table just as a permission slip for our brain to give reference to a time bubble, if you like, of collective gathering. Ia noro neata. So I've obviously expanded this practice that was used. He would just, Napoleon Hill would think of different figures in history, dead or alive, and have them there in their presence. And whenever he needs to speak to them, go to that bubble. And you can think of it as there's a room, and there's a room, and in that door, you're knocking on the door whenever you need to energetically tap into that. And you can come back to this video if you like, or you can just have that visual in the mind of the door and go to that place. And if you like, I'm my higher self and the greater part of me, which always remains, and that greater sense is there if you wish to ask, as well as we mentioned, who you call in. So Artemis and focus, that energy of the goddess, Joshua and Mary Magdalene, I feel in presence of the divine masculine and the divine feminine in their highest state of counterpart relationship, advice there. The sacred space held by the Black Cat Guardian, Octurius and Laren, Council of Time. They are kind of energetic beings that are not physical. And maybe you want to call in people that you admire and their higher state. It's not that you're actually divinely speaking to them, but their higher self. So, I don't know, someone like Esther and Abraham Hicks collective of consciousness. Maybe the people that you admire, like the Z's, or other channelers. I always think to myself and speak directly, like a collective telepathic link. So asking in that advice for signs, for images, letters, words, and gatherings to be open and receptive to the highest good, to be able to see what is needed to move forward in your life right now with your focus. And I'm hearing also an energy of the 9, the 369. It's it's March, which is the 3rd month. And we did our free, and we've been saying and suggesting doing 3 minutes a day of connection. Obviously, we've done a lot more than 3 minutes right now, but I've been talking through that, and I will go silent for 3 minutes. But I would like you to think about what the level or a realm, dimension, the number 9, as it is the 9th day, and feeling that linking of patterns, repeating patterns, the energy of that, and what they call in reference to that energy that Tesla spoke of often was the Council of 9. I feel that present for the day too. So is there anything that I need to share that people are calling for in this now moment or their future moments? Okay, so remembering that, obviously seeing like image of a road, and these different paths, and there's thousands of them. It's like seeing with double vision, but it doesn't matter which one you walk on, because you will jump back and forth energetically. Remember, in past months we were practicing, if you follow my energy report, if you're part of my Patreon membership, the old videos would talk about this, and old reports would mention what I was calling the TARDIS month. And each month I do like a little visual, so even if you can't afford the £5 a month to be a member, there's the visual which I put aspects of what's mentioned that month on that, to trigger your subconscious and to remind your higher self of those things that you are already connected to. You don't need me, you don't need my report, it's just there as a support system and to give guidance and reminder for you to connect to your own guidance, really. That's important to know. We are not giving our power away to me or anyone, or even any of these people that we're calling in. We're accessing the well of information which resides within us. But when I was speaking in that month, that TARDIS, it's like you step into an elevator, if you like a TARDIS that's huge, and you jump back and forth in these realities. So holding to the highest timeline, it doesn't mean that you're not gonna still walk into moments that feel sadness, into moments that maybe feel triggering, and the fire that we've got around at the moment, and all the shifts and transformation that are happening internally. And as I said, for this month, our cells are having a communication overhaul. So listening to your body and what it's telling you, but on a physical level, where we're jumping back and forth, energy does that really fast, instantaneously, in the blink of an eye, so you wouldn't notice so much. Only those that are very sensitive do. They notice that maybe things aren't quite the same, and that's, things show up like in the Mandela effect, as a very real experience thing that doesn't seem tangible, that feels like there's no exact evidence for it to be a truth. So how do you know? That questioning yourself is important, but not to get lost in the fog of that. The fact that you may doubt or have doubts, I know from myself, is always a good thing, because we should always be realigning, re-signifying, and feeling into the field, even beyond that which we see. And it's the reminder to tune back in, to reconnect, recharge the mobile, if you like. It's that connection is there, source is present always. We just kind of put headphones in, if you like, a little bit to what is always calling us, that guidance, that intuition. So keep realigning, keep discerning through the internal compass of your soul, your being, beyond the heightened emotions and the physical. But don't ignore those heightened emotions of the physical, because they are too guidance for you. So if your body is going, and I certainly feel that, me, Teresa, feels that, it's almost like jet lag from energetical shifts, and it's not to be a bad thing. Think of it, or what we might refer to as ascension symptoms right now. Think of those things as your body's realigning, it's recentering, but it's re-signifying, but it's speaking to you, it's calling to you to go within, to listen for where we've, almost like being at a club and it's loud music and shouting going on, and so you can't hear, you've become deaf to your source screaming at you in some cases, that we've switched off because we've numbed to subtlety of what is speaking to us, because it's not loud, although I'm giving loud analogies. It's more subtle than we realise, and we need to connect to that subtlety in soul action by closing your eyes. And I'm going to go quiet for 3 minutes, and I invite you, whether you're watching here with me live or whether you are watching the replay, it doesn't matter. This is the point. Time is a perception of linear through gravity that we are moving through. We are, meaning all of the collective people that I've called in, we, you, us, them, the greater part of me, you, us, them, are all here, present, instantly, all the time, thousands of years ago, thousands of years in the future. The point of power and connection is in this moment. Oh, I'm not going to be silent, really. Okay, just connect, ignore, or just feel the energy and the emotion of the frequency that's going to flow through me as I connect to my soul. To try and open my eyes whilst doing it as well. Okay, Alexa, can you set a 3-minute timer? That might help.
3 minutes, starting now.
Apologies if it does it in your household as well. And because I'll get called into soul and dancing with that frequency. Allow the sound to wash over you. Allow your own light language to flow through. Don't worry too much if you don't even know what I'm on about when I talk about light language. Just feel into the fullness of your being and breathe and connect to you in the totality of your senses for the next 3 minutes. Yes, corona ti corona kiana corona kia corona kiana corona kia ni sana na kia no corona e la coro tuktia ka e nai utur si raktur sukuma ne sana knai coro miataya I hanono meaka e ta iura na cora da e ta coropu ne na ia kiana do kunuma I na ia kuruma kiana na ate e na ia po e a ne a coro ne a kaia e ne te no e na ia na ko ala a kaya e a ne oroka e sanurota ni urai kurolaina te kurumiataye itu shayananye kutamye Alexa, stop. Just breathe. Just making mental note of how sound made you feel images, what emotions came up, what thought forms were present. Blessings to the fullness of that which is all of us, for all of those that have joined us and have presence. A reminder that time is not as stationary as we believe it to be, or as solidity. Its fluidity is shifting. And each time you breathe into the fullness of you, you can connect beyond space and time. For we are here, you are me, my, I, we, hold yourself in sacred reverence with your being, with your moment, amongst the chaos of your world. Feel the steadiness that is we, that is you, that is me. And to those souls that are lost to you, that fill you with sadness, time past, time future, they may be walking in a reality with you at this moment, but they too are in the fullness of themselves and do not disappear. Their experiences in that now, be it pain, grief, loss, all that is the learning collective of the moment that you are living in your reality, is also coming in information, in desiring, in becomings for the next moments in your reality. And the higher states of humanity's consciousness are here and reminding you of this future that you are aligning with. Is the calling of your desires on collective. For peace, for harmonious co-creation with one another, but not to lose your individual melodies like instruments working in harmonious symphony of the soup of humanity. Your body. We remind you from your cells and your being to feel the love for every cell, every molecule of that being, of the planet and the body, of the planet and the body of your being, your physical suit. Whether you step into ancient teachings or future callings, transmissions, they are the same information flowing from outside of time. Evolving, shifting, tangibly. Take time to just connect beyond my words, beyond your conscious belief structures, just to be with the reverence of the magic that is the human that you are. Okay, needs to go. So just want you to visualize that table is there whenever you need to connect to the collective soup of the calling in of that in reference. But you can go a level deeper depending on what you are asking, what you are wishing to know. And it is not me, not someone else that gives you the answer, but that connection that you are having those answers flow to you now, in symbols, in information, in melody, through songs, through however your soul essence can reach you, in the emotions that you are feeling. There are mental reminders of a loop that needs shifting. All are right. Nothing is wrong. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to my ancestry. I want you to step away from the table now, and we're closing that door. It's there whenever you need to go there. And I want you to feel yourself in an image of nature, just grounding that energy, that high frequency, through the cellular memory, through our bodies, going down through the layers, from that Councillor 9, from the collective soup of the Lauren Council, from Central Sun, coming from 15th dimensional realms. Even that too is a structure, though, just flowing down through the conscious fields of your body, of your body of awareness that is more than the physical, and rooting, coming back through the breath. Now just taking 3 deep breaths in through the nose. Yes, and your animal fairy reminders too. Slowly in your own time, opening your eyes. Bless you. Thank you for joining me. Just take a moment to ground and just think of the earth. A stone circle rather than the round table. Feel and smell, if you can, the moss, the ground, the grasses, nature, running streams, air in your lungs, fire molten in the belly, in the volcanoes of our planet, and slowly opening your eyes. Well, I did come on to pull a card, but my guidance had other ideas. Love and blessings, and thank you for watching. Let me know if you feel comfortable, if anything comes up from what, or maybe who you were calling into the circle, who was there, who was present. And you can watch this anytime you need it. So love and blessings for your day. Thank you, ladies, for joining me, and gentlemen. Take that calm. Hopefully this is what I'm getting from it. You may not be, but I'm feeling that sense of calm, that sense of groundiness, a really light-headed feeling of the high frequency of jumping through time. But also, and my field, my body, I can feel it extending, like it's not quite in this present moment. It's still, what's the words that, I think, is it Buddha? I can't remember the author of these words, and I'm probably paraphrasing them. Be of this world, but not in it. I can't remember who that quote's from, but, and this is what I mean. Be of this time reality, but not in it. Be and stay connected to those ancient past roots outside of time and space, future guidelines that calling you, your higher being calling you. And I know you guys are, but it's just a reminder for me, for you, for all of us, as things maybe look a little bit heady, foggy, keep trusting that discernment of your heart. Have a beautiful day. Thank you.